Hey, what's up, folks? It's Walt with One Fall WrestleCast. So we're doing something a little bit different today. Today, the guys and myself, we've named our top 4 favorite competitors in the history of pro wrestling, and we are going to undertake naming a One Fall WrestleCast Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling. This is one of the hottest debated topics in all of pro wrestling every single year, and we're going to give it a go. It's going to make for an interesting show, I'm sure. So let's get after it.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
Gentlemen, how are we doing this evening?
Good. I feel like I'm watching a
What's
repeat
up?
of Raw.
I mean, that's not different from any other Monday, bud.
Dewdrop and they're having a good match, but I feel like they were on last week, and maybe I'm wrong, but it was certainly. I know I've seen this before.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm surprised they haven't changed Dewdrop's name back to Piper Niven yet, and then tried to tell us that it was something different. Oh, Piper Niven versus Bianca Belair for the first time ever. Because Vince is all about first time ever.
First time ever.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Come on, guys. So how are we doing? We ready to do this today?
No, not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. Listen. I did a lot of hard work and preparation.
Wait, we're starting. We're leading off with this.
I mean,
we're going in Raw.
I mean, we that's how we do it, pal.
We're going in Raw.
We go Raw.
We
don't have to.
Not even gonna have a little bit of foreplay first. Just going in dry.
I'll tell you what. Okay, so we'll buy a couple of minutes. I'll tell you what, though. Right? Listen. So we planned on doing this Mount Rushmore episode because historically wrestling's kind of slow in the weeks leading up to the new year, right? Overall, wrestling television was pretty decent this week.
That has not been the case this week.
Yeah, it's been
there was a match that went on for a whole hour. They did a Broadway. I can't remember the last time I saw a Broadway.
Probably when Ric Flair was in the ring, huh?
I think Triple H and Batista got pretty close. In WrestleMania, whatever year.
Edge and Randy Orton got close too.
Edge and Randy Orton did
47 or 48 minutes.
Yeah, those two. Other than those two, this is probably the longest match I've seen since like Ric Flair was doing them in the 80s randomly.
Like, what a bummer on the finish, though, man. Like, it was almost like you knew it was going to happen once it got there.
Once it got past 30 minutes, I was like, oh.
Yeah, once they started making it obvious that they were announcing the time limit remaining. It's like, well,
I had to, because it went over like 30. It was like at 45 minutes, and I was like, well, there's no TV time limit? What's going on? And Walt had to tell me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a short
giveaway. Walt had to tell me, no, it's an hour for title matches. I was like, oh, I didn't know that, but okay. And then, like, as the time, I'm like, oh, this is a TV time limit. So, yeah.
I just noticed. I'm really surprised that you put Tommy Gunn. You put Tommy. You hate being called Tommy.
I do. You're right. I really do. But I felt that it fit the aspect today, because badass Billy Gunn and the Gun Club, they're the ass boys now. And I like it. I'm here for it. So it's in tribute to them and Danhausen for naming them. So we're gonna go with that.
Hell yeah! So Danhausen got teased that he's coming to AEW. Did you?
Oh, there's no way he's not.
Did you see the Comic-Con panel?
Yeah, I didn't see the whole thing, but I saw an article that there was that tease. And Austin Gunn also said that also was like Danhausen had said something on Twitter about like being able to put weight on his leg. Austin Gunn was like, "Don't get used to it, because once you can get back in the ring, I'm gonna break it again." Like, that's funny.
Hey, and hey, speaking of Danhausen, hey Derek, did you happen to see the Twitter thing this week? Did somebody like he had a big time Twitter troll this week talking about let me see your scar, and
No.
Danhausen he posted the tweet, he retweeted the guy, right? The person I'll go with, and said, "Hey, don't be this guy, okay?" Blocked. And it was like, "Hey man, let me see your scar. I bet you don't really actually have metal in your leg. Oh, you don't set metal detectors off at the airport. I just don't understand why you just can't come clean and tell everybody that you're not really hurt." And then it's like, bro, for real, leave the man alone.
Really?
Well, it definitely hurt. And for two, why does it matter?
Right? Like, what the hell?
I did not see that. That's ridiculous. What's the tease for Danhausen coming to AEW from the panel? I didn't see.
So they were talking to Hangman, right? And they were like, "Hey, like what?"
I did see that.
Who do you got for like future opponents in mind? And he's naming all these people, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Danhausen, that'd be an awesome one, right?" And then like Danhausen sitting next to CM Punk at Pro Wrestling Tees, they had like an expo with like a bunch of the Pro Wrestling Tees like guys, like, and CM Punk sitting there and he's staring at Danhausen. Danhausen is in full gimmick. I mean, which we expect because he always is.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there. He's got his crutches like propped up, and he's just like,
yeah, I love this.
And
guy.
There's nobody around, right? And CM Punk's going. So
I got to share a locker room with this guy. That sucks.
I think it would be good, man. I really do. We all like to laugh and giggle with Danhausen and his little gimmick, but I mean, he can actually go. Like,
I would love to see Danhausen versus Orange Cassidy every week forever and ever. Like, I feel like Danhausen pouring teeth in Orange Cassidy's mouth and kicking them out would be just phenomenal. And maybe PCO come with him, because he and PCO are a tag team. Although I don't know that I like PCO's gimmick. It's kind of dumb. He can like be confused and like fight his partner sometimes. It's not a great gimmick, but yeah, I'm very, very excited for what the future may hold with weird gimmick wrestling, because to me that's the like epitome of like what was like the Brood in like Gangrel, particularly in like in like the Attitude Era of WWF, where it was like, okay, the guy who spits blood is not going to be the world champ, but I do like to see the guy come out to spit blood,
Yeah.
Or like when Kai and Tai, there's that one Royal Rumble where Kai and Tai ran out like 4 times into the Rumble and got chucked every time, and Taka hit his face real hard, and the rest of it was like Rumble 2000. The rest of the Rumble, they're like, Taka's on his way to the hospital, and they kept replaying him smashing his face off the ground for like the Rumble went up for like an hour. Although that was a sad Rumble too. I watched it not too long ago. It was a sad Rumble because it was like, oh, he's dead. Oh, he's dead. Bulldog's dead. Oh, China's dead. It was just like a rolling like man, these people are dead. Bob Backlund's still alive though. He was in that Rumble.
Bob Backlund is still alive. He's still out there preaching the good gospel too.
He is. He's still alive. He ain't dead. He was the oldest man in that Rumble that year. He's one of them not dead ones.
You know what I want to know?
Almost 50-50.
You know what I want to know?
Huh.
Derek, are you drinking vodka out of a sippy cup?
Yeah.
Is that what's happening right now? And it's not the usual green sippy cup. It's a pink sippy cup.
It was what was at the top of the stack, sir. Plus, it matches the shirt.
It does. Look, I do like that pink AEW shirt. It's
color coordinating my vodka.
I really
it's probably that stupid pink vodka that you drink too.
There, it's pineapple.
Jesus.
Pineapple vodka.
Listen, bud, I thought we fixed
Look at
this.
Tom. Tom is like yes.
I thought we fixed
this.
You got a bottle. You got a bottle of whiskey given to you, and you were like, "Hey, man, this is pretty good. I might be able to do this." And now here you are drinking pineapple vodka.
Well, yeah, I was in.
Dude, how do you not feel like garbage in the morning? That would hurt my toenails.
Oh man, it tastes good.
Yeah, but like all the extra sugar and it's plus it's vodka. I mean, how much was that bottle of vodka?
Like
$6.99.
14. Okay, it was better than I expected, but
$14. I don't believe that for one
It's
second.
better than
bud.
I think it was
expected.
$13.99.
Okay,
Yeah.
It's better than I expected.
I will look it up. I'll look it up.
Okay, we're talking about a man that lives on a Natty and Vladdy diet. Okay, it's like you're gonna tell me you spent $14 on a bottle of vodka? I don't believe
I'm
you for
pretty
1 second.
certain I did.
You're
I
the
gotta
type
look
of
it
dude.
up.
You're the type of dude that walks into the liquor store and goes, "Ooh, $14.99, man."
He don't.
Oh, look at this, $6.99. I'll take
Yeah.
that one.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't. Do you buy like so in West Virginia? Do you go to the liquor store or you just like roll into Rite Aid? Because I can't say that I ever actually went to a liquor store in West Virginia when I lived there.
Either or, you can do both.
I guess I just roll into Rite Aid because it was like, well, Rite Aid's right there.
Yeah. I have a certain store I prefer. You know, it's nice.
Pineapple vodka. I'm embarrassed for you, bud. Okay, like I'm embarrassed for you.
Jeez.
Like
I'm sorry I don't have your gentlemanly taste, but you know, it does the job.
My little sister, it was my birthday, obviously. My little sister bought me a 4-pack of Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale, which is like one of my favorite beers. But it's like $14 or $15 for a 4-pack, so I can never really justify it. But I love it when somebody buys it for me. It tastes even better.
I hear you there, man.
I feel like I'm talking to Derek right now, Tom.
You don't like Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale?
I didn't say that.
Of course he does, but you know,
I'm complaining about prices.
Oh yeah, yeah, I do complain.
Sorry, high roller.
$14.99 for 4 beers. Come on, man. Come on. I don't care that it is delicious. It is better when somebody else buys it for you, though.
It's always better when somebody buys you something. You know what I mean? Like
it's delicious.
Like I got gifted a bottle of wild turkey this week. Like
nice, good for you.
Greatest $20 gift I've ever received.
Right?
It's delicious and nutritious.
Don't waste your money. Buy me booze.
I had an employee give me a gift card to the PA State store today or yesterday too, which is much appreciated. $15. I can do some damage with that.
Oh man, promote that person.
You know, that's the gift that keeps on giving right there, man.
Has that person ever waited on me before?
No.
Okay. If so, I hope I would have given them a giant tip, but I did not. I didn't have the option.
What is the state store? Like what do you get at the state store?
It's just a liquor store.
Yeah, it's just a liquor store.
Yeah, it's in
PA.
Yeah,
because
you have to buy things.
Yeah, you guys got to go to special spots. Yeah, I got you now.
It's
I also got a 375 of Wiggle. You know the bourbon distillery in Pittsburgh.
I do, yeah.
Their holiday Saint Nick blend. That was gifted to me as well.
Wow, that's like a 375. I mean,
it's tiny.
Yeah,
half bottle. I can't wait.
That's still got to be $20 though.
Oh, I guarantee it was every bit of 40, 45.
Because those are, I mean, the full bottle's 45 or 50.
They have a port finished rye that I really like. It's like $85.
I've had their they have a clear whiskey. Or had like it's like a rice whiskey of some sort. Like when they first opened, because obviously they hadn't had the time yet to properly age things. So when they had first opened, you could buy this, and I got to tell you, it was pretty good for what I didn't expect it to be good. I had a little sampler size of it, and it was solid.
You know, their stuff's decent. It's not the greatest whiskey on the market, right?
It's expensive.
It is expensive, but it's a craft, man. You know, and now they started doing rum too recently.
I haven't had any of their rum.
Yeah, me neither. But you know,
but I'm not a pirate, so
I'm on vacation this week, so maybe I'll wander down there and I'll see if I can't grab myself one of those port finished rye bottles because I really enjoy it.
Port finished rye sounds real super good. All right, what else we talking about this week? What else happened? Oh, we gotta talk that finish of that hour-long that Broadway match. The internet was all, if you didn't love that match, then fuck you. But I mean, it was a good match, but was that the right booking decision for that? Like,
so here's my opinion on it, right? And I feel like Tony Khan's got the biggest set of nuts in fucking pro wrestling for leading off this card with an hour-long draw, right? Like, never in a million years would Vince think that would be something that would work, right?
he would
like,
say
never,
dog shit. He'd be like, "This is a bad idea, pal."
Also, that would never ever even happen on a 2-hour television show, taking up half of your entire show. With
let alone, I mean, they could totally do that on Raw every week.
I mean, as long
as the
match is good, like, I'm gonna tell you what, they had me from the opening bell until the final bell. Like, I didn't move. I sat in my chair like this.
I did too.
And that's why 2 hours is such a perfect spot too. Like I mean, I'm not trying to get us off the rails, but like 2 hour show is perfect. 3 hour show.
I mean, and we were absolutely correct. Wardlow by absolute domination in 3 minutes. Seidel got his shit in, right? Like,
yeah. It was Seidel got a little bit of offense, and then Wardlow caught him, and it was all done.
And now that you see, hey, they're teasing the MJF breakup.
They've been teasing that for a while.
Yeah, but it escalated this week.
I do think it's going to happen. It's it probably like either right after MJF versus Punk, or maybe right before. We'll see.
Maybe you put the title on MJF before you break them up.
Maybe.
I'm guessing MJF and Punk goes clear to Evolution though, and maybe it happens there.
Really? You think it's gonna go that long?
I mean, he's got to get a long-term feud with somebody. It's referring to CM Punk. I mean,
does
literally, just like MJF said, all he's done is sit here and just beat not jobbers, but you know, it's not like he's beaten, you know, big names.
He beat Darby.
He did beat Darby.
Oh,
did you see the little dust up with Darby and that poor Jade who probably regretted that one the next morning?
Oh yeah. Darby was all skateboarding is my life. Cora Jade was like, yeah, not being an abuser is my life.
Yeah, like that escalated quickly. Really?
Yeah, she buried him on that, man.
Like, she went from zero to hero there real fast. Like oof.
Definitely 0 to 60, bro. Like
he poked her, and then she shot him. That's what happened. He was like, boop, and she was like, bang. It was over. It was like, Jesus,
it's a little much. I don't know.
I think it was. I'll agree. I think it was a little much. Like, but hey, man, good on her though that like she didn't back down from somebody that's like, you know, got the star power of a Darby Allin, right? And she's out here just trying to make her way, and she's like, fuck you.
Yeah, it was like no chill.
None.
No chill. None.
The tweet does not survive though now. Like it was deleted.
Oh yeah, they both deleted their tweets, I believe. But
they were like,
that's like the wrestling culture now, right? It's like tweet it and delete it, man. You know, it's like why?
Yeah.
Why?
Well,
I don't know. I kind of feel like if you want to start talking shit, that you should probably wrestle a little better, because I think she still hasn't proven anything to me. Because this week
Darby does need some more work, and like, you know, he's not quite there yet. I wholeheartedly agree that if you're going to start talking shit, you need to get a little bit better at your wrestling game.
Wow. So you do realize, okay, yeah, all right, because
he just core.
I'm just gonna let it go. Let it go.
Well, I just got to point out how cozy this feels right now with your little fireplace back there. I feel.
Oh man, I just added it today. Isn't it
awesome? It's so cozy.
It's so warm.
Oh man, it's so cozy right now.
All warm and fuzzy.
This is
need a little heater under the projector so that it, you know, gives it that fireplace feel.
I have a little heater right here, pal.
Oh, perfect.
What projector? What are you talking about? That's a fireplace.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
The fireplace.
Look at that fire. That is a brilliant fire.
You know, I worked real hard to build that roaring fire. Okay.
Yeah. He's got them crossed. You have to cross the logs.
It looks so real.
It's because it is real, motherfucker.
Yeah. I remember building that wall, and I was wondering why you were framing extra in that area. Now I understand.
You disrespectful piece of shit.
Yeah, I totally remember this now.
So, speaking of disrespectful pieces of shit, we got this wall that we have. No, we got to build this Mount Rushmore
Oh,
full of
oh.
disrespectful pieces of shit. So,
Oh.
Walt,
No, this isn't going to be that bad.
now, how did you want to do this, Walt? 'Cause,
So, I sat here all week and I tried to figure out exactly how we were going to do this, right? Because I don't believe for one fucking second that the three of us are going to agree on four guys.
no, we're not.
I don't.
Because
right?
the four guys I picked are the right ones, and if you guys have different ones, you're wrong.
Okay, slow down.
It's
Slow
fine.
down.
I'm just telling you that you're.
Okay.
You know,
I may give you one of your four.
no, but okay. Okay,
I
but no.
may allow it. So
That's fine. You know, we can all be wrong, but not
but
me.
only one of us is right, and clearly it's going to be the fat guy at the bottom. Okay, so like,
Look, just because you're
I mean,
holding
he
the
does make a
clickies,
slide.
he just had because you have the slides.
He's kind of got the upper hand there.
It's gonna be the fat guy. So it's not gonna be the fat guy on the top. It's gonna be the fat guy on the bottom. All right.
So here we go. Let's review the list for everybody to see. All right. So leading off the list, we've got Ric Flair.
These are my picks. Yeah.
These are your picks, then Derek's picks, then my picks in order. Okay, so we've got Ric Flair, obviously the most winningest champion in the history of pro wrestling. One of the greatest characters of all time, right?
It's an easy pick, right? It's an easy.
Triple H, the game. He's coming out to show the world that he doesn't belong on the list.
What?
The Rock. I think that this goes without being said, right? The Rock is the most electrifying man in sports entertainment.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that one's just gonna be a real easy.
He's almost the gimme,
the cream of the crop.
He's the other gimme, right? I will give you that we can argue about Triple H, but
I mean, we can argue about a lot of these.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, Triple H isn't even close to getting enshrouded.
Okay, moving on
about the Macho Man.
Moving on to Derek.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho. Hey, man, he's been at it for 30 plus years. He's got a very decorated career.
He was fantastic intercontinental champion.
Ever undisputed champion in the history of professional wrestling. He definitely has a claim to have his face enshrined on the majestic mountain.
His wife also helped invade the Capitol, but hey, we're not talking about that.
Well, his wife doesn't need to go on Run.
That's outside of kayfabe. We'll talk about that.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You know, I'd have put him on my list if his IPA was better.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan here.
Wow.
We know.
Yeah, you like natural light, pal.
We heard.
And Coors Light, look, even right there, he's having a Coors Light.
So hey,
real quick, Steve
Coors
Weisers
Light,
there.
Coors Light moment, right? One time we were sitting in the dark. All right, all Derek and me and all of our friends from the college years, right? Sitting in the dark watching a movie, and all we had left in the fridge was Coors Light. And
I was not happy about it.
Complete and utter silence. And out of nowhere, this little dumbass goes, so this one time I drank moose piss. And that's all he said.
What?
And every single one of us busted out laughing. And we were like, go on. He was like, no, like, that's it. Like, you know, I drank moose piss because, like, you know, Coors Light, the mountains, moose, like, get it?
Yeah, I kind of hated it back then.
Oh, Derek, no.
At least you gave me a good voice. That was nice of you. I expected,
tried.
That was good.
I tried, but hey, Stone Cold definitely has a place here.
Potential.
It's a short career, but it was a very impactful career.
That's why I think it was too short.
But three faces of Foley, Mick Foley, Dude Love, Cactus Jack, Mankind. I mean, how many iconic moments can we point to that Mick Foley is a part of?
Exactly.
Most of them.
You know what I'm saying?
God is my witness. He's broken in half.
Promotion across all the years. I mean, the NWA, Smoky Mountain,
Mrs.
up to
Foley's baby
WCW,
boy.
WWF, everything.
I'm really
He just
surprised
keeps reinventing himself.
you left ECW out of that list.
He was a
Oh,
fantastic
yeah, ECW.
He was a fantastic commissioner too. Well, I just want to point that out. He was the commissioner of what? SmackDown, or was it Raw?
I think it was Raw, but he is also
I know this isn't supposed to count, but he's just a wonderful human being.
That too. Have you ever
Yes.
met Mick Foley?
I've not had the pleasure.
Oh man,
I've only heard good stories though.
Oh my god, it's like they tell you don't meet your heroes, except Mick Foley. Meet him if you get the chance to go and like get him to sign a book or something. Go meet Mick. Just oh my god, what a like. I walked up to him starstruck, and he was like, "Buddy, it's okay." He like kind of pat me on the shoulder and was like, kind of like gave me a hug, and like I told him like, "Dude, but you've been like my favorite people." Now I'm kind of second guessing myself. I'm like, "Shit, how did I not put Foley on my list?"
Well,
It's
he's
okay.
here.
You
He's
have
here.
time to make room on your list for
That's
him.
all right.
You're
right.
He's here for the opportunity, pal.
All right, I might have to drop Triple H for
Moving
Foley,
on.
so.
The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, the boyhood dream, Mr. WrestleMania, the guy, the original guy.
What's the guy?
Mr. Perfect, Kurt
Wait,
Hennig.
we're in yours now.
Now
Walt?
we're into mine.
Yeah, these are Walt's picks.
Okay, I can see that. I understand why. I mean, he's not going to make it, but I
He's
get it.
absolutely gonna make it, but that's
He's
okay.
not going to make it.
No,
Because you've already made the slide.
He's gonna make it. It's okay.
I just hope that
The
Walt
Hitman,
has
Bret
like
Hart.
all options available of like whatever that would be, like 46 slides
I
of different combinations.
I don't. You're gonna get your.
You
gonna
know,
get
you
a
really
couple-
should.
Well, but I work a full-time job just like everybody else does.
You work
Okay.
a little bit more than full time.
Yeah.
so.
Thank
Yeah.
you
Well,
for that recognition, Tom. I appreciate that.
I
We'll
feel
give you
like
that.
I'm done. I feel like I'm done with work, and I'm like, "Hey, Walt, I'm coming out to eat. Are you still there?" Yeah, I'll be here.
Yeah.
And that's happened every time I've wanted to go.
Yes.
So, it's like,
And I started at the same time you did. So
I'm like 3. Yeah, I'm like 3 for 3. Yeah.
the Phenom, the Undertaker.
His match with Goldberg really, man, he don't make it. I don't think. As
Love that
as he
money.
is.
And
Yeah.
last but certainly not least. Dun, 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 dun.
Like, it is. Do
Why are
action
your
figures
picks so bad?
Yeah, I mean,
These
I
are
was going to
great.
say the same thing. Why are your picks so bad?
These are great. These are great. These are all functional picks.
Like functionally handicapped picks?
No, like
Is that-
functioning like I didn't lead with my emotions, okay? I led with
Oh.
contributions to the business. I led with overall talent.
I picked
I
Ric
led
Flair.
with promo skills.
I picked Ric Flair and The Rock.
Well, yeah, because you're a mark.
Yes.
And so is Derek. So I had to have non-Marky Mark picks there, Marky Mark.
But I
What the
also
fuck do you call Hulk Hogan?
How is Hulk Hogan not a Marky Mark pick?
Because
Yeah.
he is the reason that pro wrestling is what it is today.
Pick
It's
my
because
notes.
of him.
Okay.
And you can't argue that.
You
But it
picked
could
The
have been
Undertaker.
someone else. He would just happen to
But
be the
it's
guy.
not. It
The
was him.
Undertaker's a Mark pick too.
The Undertaker is an emotional pick.
That's
Okay. The Undertaker is an emotional pick.
what's your
So
other one? Shawn Michaels is a Mark pick.
that's Derek's pick.
Oh, my bad.
That ain't my pick. I didn't pick
Yeah,
Shawn Michaels.
That's the list. I took it out of the message.
I did not pick.
Fuck.
No, the
Oh,
fuck I
listen,
did. It was
Bro, we don't
listen,
We don't have time
was
to
Rock,
watch the top. We
Stone
don't have the
Cold,
time to watch the top of your head.
Jericho,
Scroll
Foley.
for
There was no
7
Shawn
minutes,
Michaels.
9.
I don't know
fucking weeks
where you
ago
got
when
that
we had
from.
this conversation
Okay.
Because
initially.
both Tom and I picked The Rock.
That's why he's on there because you picked. Okay, all right. Okay, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. So, man, I feel
First
like
off, can we just say that The Rock can just bypass and
we're
make it?
we're putting The Rock up there, right? Like that's let's get the easy.
I think that
let's-
the three of
let's
us
get the
can
easy one
actually
out of the way.
agree that The Rock deserves to be on this list.
Let's
right?
get the easy one out
And,
of the way.
and full disclosure, I think it's safe to say that we're all products of the Attitude Era. I mean, you guys might have watched it a little earlier than myself. I very much started in the Attitude era, and I think my picks kind of reflect that a little bit.
No, and that's fair, bud. And like I think that as wrestling fans, we're a product of our environment, right? And like we're at the point where if like everything that we see now, we compare to the things that we enjoyed when we were growing up, right? I feel like every single week somebody's like, well, back whenever The Rock was doing this, that would have never flown. Or, oh, man, do you remember that promo that Macho Man cut? Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I get that piece of it. And that's why, like, this list is so subjective, and it's such a heated topic in the pro wrestling community, right? Because of the simple fact that everybody has their own tastes and likes, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's got their own palate for pro wrestling. So the fact that the three of us, we have completely different tastes in what we like to watch in pro wrestling for the most part. I think that more often than not, I find myself agreeing with both of you or disagreeing with both of you while you two agree with one another. I don't think that there's any in between on any of that. If I do say so myself.
So then I think that the second easiest one to put up there is Mick Foley. Am I mistaken in that? Because I feel like he's the easy one, right? He's the guy. Good God, he's as God is my witness. He's broken in half.
Listen, I'm just saying, I'm not gonna let you sit there and try to just bypass Mick Foley when the Undertaker and Bret Hart are sitting there right for the picking.
He had fantastic matches with the Undertaker, but
he did, and the Undertaker made him famous. So let's not forget that.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's true. That's great. But Mick Foley had the first ever buried alive match with Undertaker,
and his tooth came out of his nose.
The greatest Hell in a Cell match ever with Undertaker.
Yeah, they should have retired. They should have retired that after that.
Are you just saying who won? Is that what is more important? Is who won the match?
No,
you do know it's predetermined.
I'm just pointing out the common theme to your argument. Continue.
Okay. Boiler room matches. Also
Undertaker.
Those. Inferno match. That was Undertaker.
Undertaker.
Fuck.
Hold on. It was halftime heat. The Rock. Oh my God.
Okay. The empty arena.
Yeah.
Okay, that was good. And that Royal Rumble match, what was that, like 96, 97, when he took 47 unanswered steel chair shots to the head?
It was 11, but yes.
That definitely
legit 11. That's insane.
Falls in line with those types of things.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Tom, that was huge.
Tom, I want to give me an argument. Lay it out there. Why does Mick Foley deserve to be on the Mount Rushmore here?
Well, not only for the Mankind gimmick, which, if you remember how twisted and like when he would give those promos, like this was sort of as they were sort of edging out of the way that like the old school promos were filmed, but like they would let him film the promos in the boiler room, and he would be deranged and just be upset. And just those haunted me when he did that. But then when he turned into a baby face and with Mr. Socko and with The Rock and like This Is Your Life and the Rock and Sock connection, and then when he was in the Royal Rumble and he came out as Dude Love, Cactus Jack, and Mankind all at the same time. I mean, it's just a guy who just had...
That was great, by the way.
I feel like he just consistently had great, especially in WWF. It was like, oh, what did you do? Do you remember the first time he won the WWE title? He broke WCW. This is why he belongs on this list. This is if for any reason alone, he is the man that broke WCW, because Tony Schiavone said, hey, the main event on WWF right now, Mankind is going to win the WWF championship. So stay tuned here. Immediately, everybody shut off WCW and turned on to watch.
That'll put some butts in the seat.
Yes, that was the exact one.
That he broke WCW. Broke it.
Yeah. They never won a Monday Night War after that.
They didn't. That he broke WCW. His winning the championship broke WCW. If that does not put him on this Mount Rushmore, I don't know what does.
Well, the fans as a whole wanted that so bad.
Yes,
this point.
I mean, he deserved it.
I remember that vividly to this. Now, I was not watching WCW when Tony Schiavone said that. I watched that after the fact. I was watching Raw, and I was jumping out of my seat because I could not wait to see Mankind finally get his freaking WWE title shot. And when he won, I'm getting goosebumps for it just thinking about it right now. It was one of the most exciting pieces of television I've ever seen in my entire life. And looking back on it now, even as a 37-year-old man, it broke WCW. It's what won the Monday Night Wars. That's it. Dude, it was the beginning of the end.
Derek, what about you, bud? Mick Foley, why?
Guys, he's had a 30-year career. As I mentioned earlier, he's been in all the biggest, institution wrestling around the continent, guys. He's been to Japan. He went to the NWA, he went to Smoky Mountain, ECW. He's put on a hell of a matches all over the place. He has put his life, his body on the line for this business, for our entertainment. He did this for us.
Are we not entertained? I'm entertained.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you could deny this, man. A Hall of Fame career, easily. He's blue chipper. He's first Hall of Famer.
The Hallest of Fame careers. I mean, we're talking about a guy. I mean, you chisel him up there next to The Rock because
just line up the blue chips right there.
A lot of things are blue chipper, okay, and Mick Foley is not one of them. All right, bud.
Wow.
So listen. You guys both make really good arguments, okay? Mick Foley is absolutely fantastic. All right. Absolutely. And yeah, he did. He's the reason that Nitro had its little downward spiral. Okay. Because he won his first ever world championship in one of the greatest moments in Monday Night Raw history, if I do say so myself. Right. Like the crowd pop was phenomenal when that dude won the championship. Okay.
I don't know that microphones did it justice.
Like he's definitely 1,000,000% had a Hall of Fame career, and he's got to do the thing that he loves the most for 30 plus years. He got thrown off Hell in a Cell in Pittsburgh at the Civic Arena. That's how long ago that was. It was the Civic Arena.
It was. Vader tore his ear off with a ring rope. Got him caught.
So he's given his heart, soul, and his body to the business, right?
Bunch of teeth and an ear.
Just for us to have some enjoyment. And I don't disagree with anything that you're saying. Okay. However, I don't feel that with some of these guys that are on this list, we can just jump to throwing Mick on this mountain.
All right. Well, can we cut Rick?
Can we throw Mr. Perfect off of it then? Because
why would you throw Mr. Perfect
Hart
off of it?
And Bret Hart. We need to throw them both.
He doesn't give me any warm fuzzies. I don't have any quality.
I'm okay with okay with not throwing off Mr.
I loved his vignettes. Loved them.
I'm okay with not throwing off Perfect yet. However, can we get rid of Bret Hart? And here's why. Because Bret Hart, yes, he had a fantastic WWF career, fantastic WWF run. However, it was sort of marred and kind of, I don't know, man, it just wasn't it wasn't what it could be. And then at the pinnacle of his stardom, Montreal Screwjob, he goes to WCW and has was Bret Hart's WCW run any good at all? All?
I mean, he was a United States
champion. But is that his fault?
No,
it's not his fault. It's Bischoff's fault. Bischoff admits to it today. He's like, hey, man, I didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah, but I don't see where we just throw him off. I mean, Bret Hart's.
No, I think we
Bret
throw
Hart's
Bret
big
off.
deal, buddy.
I think we throw Bret off. Look, I would keep Owen on here before I would put Owen on here before I put Bret on here.
Okay. No. Listen, I love and respect Owen Hart just as much as the next guy and the contributions that guy has made to the wrestling business. And I mean, he gave his life for the business. Okay. In a tragic accident, and all of that fallout's very unfortunate. And his in-ring was absolutely beautiful thing to watch. And he had the best match of WrestleMania history, as far as I'm concerned. WrestleMania 10 opening the show in Madison Square Garden with his brother Bret. But
yeah, it was really good.
It's just not the same the same like awards and admiration. It's just not there. It didn't have a chance to get there.
Saying he wasn't the excellence of execution.
Bret was.
No, I
Owen
know.
wasn't.
I know. I'm just saying.
So I mean, we can throw Bret off, but I'm gonna disagree with it.
I mean, I just don't think he makes it. I think with the rest of the talent here, with the rest of what's to come, I think that his WCW run. I hear what you're saying is that it wasn't his fault, but to me that doesn't that it wasn't his fault, but he also didn't like remedy it. I don't know that he had the opportunity to.
And
but
then he
like,
got his fucking teeth kicked down his throat, and he was
did,
never
and
the
yeah.
same again.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel
but
like a lot of it was he had an attitude problem and didn't have a lot of heart whenever he came to WCW. His heart wasn't in it.
Oh, I like it. You see the play on words there?
No, his
Have
heart
a
did.
lot of
That was good, Derek. I'm proud
heart.
of you.
Thank you.
But
I like
you're
it.
absolutely right, though. His heart wasn't into it because, he didn't. The Montreal screw job just happened, and now he's on WCW, and he just signed this 20-year contract that they were like, nah, man, we can't do that. Like, all this crazy shit happened, right? So, and all he ever wanted to do was be in the WWF, and now he's in WCW, and they don't have any clue what to do with him. And I think where, like, that's what gives me the willingness to allow us to remove him from the list.
I'm not
because,
saying I don't
wait,
love me some Bret Hart. All right, go ahead.
But like,
sorry.
we can remove him from the list because a lot of these guys that maybe weren't necessarily screwed over in the manner that Bret was, but like kind of got, dogged a little bit over at WWF and then went to WCW, made the best out of it. Macho Man, you know what I mean? A prime example right there. Macho went over and he reinvented his career in WCW when Vince told him he couldn't wrestle anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Bret kind of just went to WCW to die, and that's exactly what happened. And while it pains me very much because I was a little Bret Hart fan growing up.
I mean, it's hard not to be. Guys our age, hard not to be, right?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
Looking back there, you can just see that he's kind of a miserable human. He's just got a dark attitude to him.
I think that's a heart thing.
I would agree with that. So Bret Hart, we're throwing him off the list. We voted him off the island.
Sorry, he's always Bret. The victim. Bye, Bret.
Yeah, he's always the victim.
Okay.
Sorry, Bret.
So let's get into some meat and potatoes here. All right. So let's talk about Ric Flair and his willingness amongst the three of us to be added to this rock. Derek,
I have a question though before we start this conversation, because this specifically, for the most part, applies to him. Are we going to exclude personal, side of things? We're only looking at wrestling.
I think it's the body of work of the human being.
I would agree with that. I think it's the body of work.
Because we talk about those kind of things on this show an awful lot. And for the three of us to not take that into consideration when crafting our own Mount Rushmore, I think would be a disservice to our show and our audience.
That's a good point.
Well, I've got to say, in that case, I'm very surprised that Tom made this pick because he's normally a very upstanding and one for the people. Not that,
Well, if you remember correctly in the group message, I asked for 3 initially, and Flair was not on Tom's top 3. He did, however, say if I were to pick 4, Flair would fall in there.
Mm-hmm. He did.
It's too hard to ignore the man's contribution, in my opinion. And I'm fine with you with him getting tossed, right? Because due to extracurricular difficulties, but man, it's just too hard for me to consider a Mount Rushmore without Rick on it, right? I mean, we're talking about a guy who, I mean, the end up from my thoughts, my recollection, my whole feeling, my understanding of the NWA, the NWA champion, one of the last surviving touring NWA champions, but probably one of the most, I mean, absolutely the most effective NWA champion, the most successful. And then
he absolutely is. You think of NWA, you think of Ric Flair.
Yeah, and then he went on and was in WCW for a long time. Like when the NWA folded and became WCW, he was the first WCW champion. So they built WCW on his shoulders. Like WCW would not have been WCW if it weren't for Ric Flair. And then he jumped to WWF, had a fantastic feud with the Macho Man Randy Savage. Like, to me, that was the pinnacle of his career, is that feud with the Macho Man.
Oh, it was great.
Oh my God. If you go back and watch it now, it's like, if this were to exist right now, this would be the most electrifying. This would be the best thing on television, period. Not just the best thing in wrestling, best thing on television, period.
It
right
definitely has held up over time.
100%. And then, you know, just the longevity of his career. Like, his career started like in the early 70s, and he wrestled. I mean, he's still.
Let's not forget he was also in a plane crash that very well could have ended his life.
It could have, and it actually. So he was sort of a bigger guy prior to that, but he had that messed up his back, and he realized that he needed to trim down so that he could keep working and be so if you look at like early mid 70s NWA Ric Flair towards like mid 80s Ric Flair, I mean, we're talking about a guy that's 40 pounds lighter and you know, still working the same way. And God, the chops, just everything about him, I mean, in the ring. Now, the detraction obviously from Ric Flair is the outside activities. He was married 7 times. You know, the Dark Side of the Ring episode where they really threw him under the bus. Is that all? Was that?
I gotta say though, would we really be talking about this now though if it weren't for that Dark Side of the Ring episode? Because it's always something that was mentioned, but never to this extent and never to this granular detail and being recounted again by the actual.
That's a good point. Here, well, and the point that I want to point out too is that, like, I hate to bring this up again because it's like, well, abuse is abuse and it's not right regardless of, like, I don't know how much Dark Side of the Ring is sort of produced to like have, here's a villain, here's a redemption story, here's a hero type of deal, right? Because like, so they gave Dustin Rhodes the redemption story.
I knew it was fucking coming.
I'm just saying, man,
I knew it, man.
He got off scot free. He was on
it.
Like, we canceled Ric Flair, but like Dustin Rhodes just came out to save Cody on Friday. So
yeah. 5 decade shirt. It was pretty sweet. I like the shirt.
And to point, what Dustin did was worse. So, I mean, if we want to toss Rick off because extracurricular activities, the man's not the best dude ever, I'm fine with that. I don't know that it tarnishes the whole legacy. I'm just due to what I just brought up there. I'm a skeptic of the whole. If the only evidence, the only thing we're looking at is the Dark Side of the Ring to say, well, this is why Ric Flair doesn't belong here anymore. He can't play here anymore because of this episode of the show.
Well, he made the same story, or he told the same stories basically on the cartoon show. I can't remember what it's called now because they've recently taken off the website anyway off the network. But
yeah, they
would retell stories of back in the day, and they'd recreate them through cartoon.
Yeah.
Ric Flair told us that all these things happened.
He told us this exact story, if we're being honest.
Yeah. But from his point of view, which was
right.
quite different.
Yeah.
I personally am not ready to throw him off the mountain. I'm not.
Listen,
I'm not ready
agree
to
with both of you.
enshrine him yet.
Let's table him. Let's come back to
him.
All
right, he's tabled.
Okay. Let's table him. So obviously we already know The Rock is on this list. Let's take a look at Chris Jericho.
He can go. He's not of the caliber. He's just not.
He's not of the caliber.
Listen,
he's not.
I think that's an unfair statement. I think Chris has had a stellar career and he continues to entertain us today, right?
Sure.
He's made some questionable personal life choices, especially during COVID and all of those things that he was involved in with that, right?
But I'm not even saying for that reason. I mean, yes, I disagree with that wholeheartedly. And if we're going to toss Ric Flair for extracurricular choices, I feel like Jericho is on equal footing, in my opinion. But that's not even why.
But to say that he's not of the caliber in as far as being a talent or a performer, I think it's unfair, bud. I really do. I mean, the man was the first ever undisputed champion, and like you can call a spade, man, but like he beat The Rock and Stone Cold, the two #1 guys at the time. So clearly they saw money with him. They thought that he was very capable in order to give him that one and only distinction that nobody else is ever going to have.
Yeah.
So the caliber thing, I don't necessarily agree with. However, overall impact, I don't feel that Jericho has had an impact in my heart, at least, right? Where it's like, God, dude, wrestling's so much better because of Chris Jericho. I mean, it absolutely is much more fun with Chris Jericho, but is it where it's at today because of Chris Jericho? Derek?
The Ralphus stuff is underrated.
No, I'm not going to say that. The amount of
that's what we're trying to decide here, bro.
Reinvented himself. I'm just saying what my favorite guy is. I'm not trying to say that he wrote the Bible of wrestling over here, but he came back with how many great gimmicks throughout the years?
No disagreement here.
Countless hours of entertainment. And I'm not even including the whenever he went over to AEW, he put that company on his shoulders and was the first inaugural champion for 6 months? I don't know how long he kept the belt for, but
about 8 months actually.
Yeah, it was like
he actually lost the belt as well, and then got it back, which is kind of a funny sidebar. But
he lost it in a Longhorn Steakhouse.
Yeah, that's bullshit. He should have been in a Roadhouse.
Had he been in a Roadhouse, he wouldn't have been allowed to leave without that belt.
So, I mean, you've got the list. You've got old school Lionheart Chris Jericho. You've got his time spent in Japan early in his career, plus a second stint as the Painmaker, which left a little bit to be desired. I'm not going to lie. It wasn't his greatest stint over in the second time on NJP. I wasn't super impressed there. It was kind of whatever. But, guys, the list and the entrance whenever he moved to WWE, whenever he came and interrupted Raw, the countdown to Y2 Jericho. We've been through all this actually on our first episode of One Fall WrestleCast. Whenever I told you how amazing this man is, it does not change.
Bud, hey, I'm not disagreeing with you on anything that you're saying. I enjoy Chris Jericho. He just doesn't belong here, bud.
Nah, he don't. I agree.
All right.
He's not. Look, none of us put Randy Orton on this list either.
For that reason, and Randy Orton is phenomenal.
Same thing, same reason, same thing. I would put Jericho in the same circle as Randy Orton. One of the best, absolutely top 20 all day. Yes. All day. Is Jericho in the top 20 wrestlers ever? Absolutely.
He's probably in the top 10 ever.
For sure. But yeah, I'm just saying. Like, ever. I'm just saying. All day. Right? All day. But
again.
Top 4?
No, I agree. Jericho's out. All right. So let's move on. Let's take a look at the Undertaker. Okay. So I guess this is my guy. So I got to lay the groundwork on the argument. Okay. The Undertaker has been one of the most captivating things on television since 1990. Do you remember his debut at SummerSlam? Whenever he first came out.
Survivor Series. It was Survivor Series.
That's what I said. Did I say SummerSlam?
You said SummerSlam.
Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Right?
I got
you. They were like panning the kids in the crowd and like just the utter terror on their faces. Like, that's a thing, man. And then he just goes in and he's robotic and he doesn't sell shit, right? And it's awesome. We're into it. It's like, holy shit, look at this fucking guy. How's anybody ever going to be?
You know what else showed up that year, though?
What's that?
The gobbledygooker.
Yeah, because Taker actually thought he was going to be Eggman, if you've heard that story.
He did.
I have. That's why I bring up the gobbledygooker. Anyway.
So you move on, right? And they very much use the Undertaker as an attraction type guy. He's not on every show after he debuts, but everything he does is meaningful. Early on in his career, right? Everything was meaningful.
Who farted?
And then that was probably Derek or Jackson growled.
Derek farted.
Nah, it was Timmy yawning.
Oh, Timmy. Timmy
farted.
So,
man, it was a fart, not a yawn. Jesus.
Way to fart during during the.
That's no
once
joke
Undertaker-
either. I'm not screwing with you guys. That's nasty.
Way to fart
Wow.
during Undertaker's put over. Good job, Timmy.
Unbelievable, Tim. Unbelievable, Tim.
That's what Timmy thinks of the Undertaker.
But listen, so Taker rode the dead man gimmick, right? And it evolved, and then you got the vignettes with Kamala and the casket match, the first casket match where he's building it, and we're getting that little bit of promo time. The Paul Bearer thing.
Paul Bearer, yeah.
Oh my God, man, come on,
Oh my Undertaker.
right? And then just like we just talked about Jericho, he evolved when times changed. He changed, and he
American
was
Badass sucked though.
yeah, but he
fucking
was still
terrible.
just beating the fuck out of people. And that's
Yeah,
what you were there for. You were
yeah.
there to watch the Undertaker just whoop somebody's ass.
I wasn't there. I wasn't there for a guy with Kid Rock as his theme song, but
He came out to Limp Bizkit for a little bit too.
I'd be all right with that.
Yeah, I mean that was better. But
Keep on rolling, baby.
I think we can all agree that the American Badass Undertaker was the weakest of all.
Oh, 100%.
I would
But I
hope
mean,
so anyway.
the
you know.
shittest of all Undertakers.
It was definitely the shittest of all Undertaker. And then, I mean, you got the Ministry of Darkness, and then he did the corporate ministry where he was in with Vince McMahon. And
when he crucified Stone Cold.
he
Oh,
crucified
man.
Stone Cold. He crucified Stephanie.
Didn't quite. Stone Cold saved her.
Yeah, but then
But
you had
they
that
were
storyline
gonna-
with Vince McMahon, and it was me, Austin. It was me all along, and the Undertaker was the face of that. And that's a great rivalry, and that was a great storyline. It continued the story between Austin and McMahon, which we can all agree was the best thing on television during the Attitude Era.
Oh yeah,
I
the
mean,
best thing on television in the 90s.
That helped to continue that story. And then the Undertaker reinvented himself again, and the Dead Man came back. And we were here for it. And he was still putting on bangers. WrestleMania 24, 25 with Shawn Michaels. Good versus Evil at 24. And then that banger at 25. Come on, man. The Undertaker, the streak, the WrestleMania streak, you're never going to see anything like that ever again.
I hope
He
I
was
never
one of the
see a
most-
finish to the streak like that ever again. That was the most disappointing thing in the world. I can't even believe he brought the streak up. It almost doesn't even. It almost takes away from him because of the way it ended.
It doesn't take. Listen, Brock Lesnar's still the guy today, bud. He's still in the main story today. Like, I think that, and not to mention, Taker and Brock are best friends. Like, they're buddies. They like to hunt and fish together. Like, that
makes sense.
probably meant more to them than the streak did to Taker. Like, and now look who's the attraction now. Brock Lesnar's the attraction now.
Taker didn't know there was a streak until he hit like 16. And then at like 16, they were like, "Do you realize that like you haven't lost at WrestleMania and it's been 16 years?" And he was like, "No shit."
Yeah, I think that's.
Do you think
the best
they
part
even
about it.
realized though?
I
Because
don't
obviously
think
they didn't plan this 30 some years in advance.
When he
but-
tells the story, he was like, "Yeah, we didn't even realize it was a thing until like 16 years in." And somebody, just like Tom said, somebody was like, "Hey, did you know?" Because he's like, "Oh, that's what I found out when they found out."
It's probably Meltzer.
Somebody in the back was like, "Did you realize the Undertaker doesn't lose at WrestleMania?" And they were like, "Huh." Then they flipped back through it and they were like, "He's actually never lost at WrestleMania." How many WrestleManias is that? 16. Wait, what? Has he been on all of them? Yeah, every one. How is that even possible? Yeah, he never missed one. He didn't miss it. How did he not miss a WrestleMania? Oh, he just didn't.
And it became a thing. And now he's the guy, right? Like,
was the guy.
Right. But
was the guy.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I feel like it's kind of hard to have Mount Rushmore without the Undertaker.
I'm kind of in the man.
I hear you.
You can't have Undertaker and Mick Foley. Like, I mean, if you're gonna take out Mick Foley, how many huge matches has he had with Mick?
All right. So here, let me make the case against him. All right, because here's the case against him. He stayed too long.
Agreed.
He should have been gone
after the streak.
After this, maybe even a little bit after that, but still.
Roman Reigns. That's when he should have left.
Yeah, or
that was a terrible match, though.
But then he had the tag team match that he was happy with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns should have left after Roman Reigns.
Yeah. I mean, I would have even been fine if he left after the crown jewel thing was after the thing where he beat John Cena at WrestleMania, right? That was after that, right?
Yes. That would have been okay to go out on.
Had he gone out with beating John Cena at WrestleMania,
Like not only
I would've been
beating
fine with
John
that.
Cena, but destroying John Cena.
destroying John Cena, yes, at WrestleMania, I feel like that would have been fine, and that would have been it. But then, damn, there was that match with Goldberg. God, that was bad.
It was real bad.
That was.
I mean, he almost died in that match.
I feel like they both did, and maybe we'd have been better off for it.
Jesus.
And then he came back again a little more. It's just, I mean, the Boneyard match was cool, but it wasn't.
It wasn't a match.
It should have been done before that. Man, I just feel like it went on too much. There was too much. There was too much at the end to be like, yeah. It's like I feel like it's tainted, and I feel like it's tainted to the point where like there's other people on this list who aren't tainted. That was that. So there's two matches. There's two Undertaker Crown Jewel matches that are like two of the worst matches in the history of matches ever, and they both happened in Saudi Arabia. There was the one Undertaker and Goldberg, and there was Undertaker and Kane versus Shawn Michaels and Triple H, where Triple H that one might have been worse.
Yeah, Triple H tore his pec, and because everybody was counting on Triple H to carry that match between the four of those guys, and Triple H tore his pec early in the match, and he couldn't carry the match the way that he anticipated.
Couldn't carry anything because his pec was torn.
Yeah,
and then Kane's mask fell off.
Oh yeah, it was comedy of errors,
which was terrible.
Okay,
and then it was Shawn Michaels who was carrying the match, a man who had not been in the ring for 12 years or something, or 7 years at that point. So no, I mean, I feel like he really buried a lot of where his goodwill would have been, and I feel like he can be tabled with Ric Flair for this, right? I feel like he and Ric Flair can live on the table together, because either they both kind of belong or neither of them do. And it's sort of the same.
Because I mean, if you think about it, they both outstayed their welcome and kind of So, all right. So we have Flair, Mick, and Taker on the table.
I mean, I'd take Mick over all three of those guys, but that's just.
Bret Hart and Jericho have been tossed out. Let's move on to Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, Mr. WrestleMania. I mean,
he's looking rosier and rosier as we talk about this. Because you want to talk about a guy who was retired by the Undertaker and actually stayed retired, and then he came back, and the build up to that match was actually not bad.
No, the story was good.
And then the fallout during the match, Shawn Michaels is the hero of that match. The match that I just shit all over.
Right.
But Shawn Michaels is the hero of that match. So yeah, I don't know. Sean's pretty good.
Sean is pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of great Shawn Michaels. Listen, never before, okay, has somebody had two complete parts to their career, right? Like you've got pre-back injury Shawn, and you've got post-back injury Shawn. Okay. Pre-back injury Shawn, Rockers, right? Uncrowned tag team champions, the tag team that created tag team wrestling as we know it today.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And then to go on and the barbershop window angle whenever he split and went his own way. The Intercontinental Championship run. I mean, he worked with fucking Sherry Martel, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
And even WrestleMania 9, he had a match, Intercontinental title match. I think it was against Tatanka. And
it was.
He looked great. The story was there. The build up to that
Tatanka's underrated. If we ever do
is absolutely underrated.
If we do an underrated Rushmore, Tatanka's on that.
No, that's fair.
Yeah,
I could get behind that, but there's a lot of underrated people.
Well, Tatanka is like number 1 or 2 of
So,
underrated.
but I mean, to not consider the fact that Shawn Michaels overall had a pretty stellar career. Now, if we want to get into extracurriculars and things, he was a shitbag human at one point in his life, right?
I mean, for a good point of his life, for like the majority of his like,
Yeah, people legit hated him in the locker room.
I mean, he was a
was
bad
an asshole.
person.
I mean, it was so bad. WrestleMania, what was that? 14, whenever or 13? Yeah, it was 14 when Mike Tyson and Stone Cold, that whole thing, right? It was so bad they didn't think he was going to do business with Austin, and Undertaker had taped up his fists and was going to fuck Shawn up when he came through the curtain if he didn't do business. Like, nobody gave a shit about Shawn Michaels at that point in time, and like,
They were gonna Undertaker was gonna unpretty him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, he eventually became unpretty, but like,
well, yeah, but that
it
was
was
like,
gonna be that night.
So, and then obviously, the shit happens. It goes down the casket match with the Undertaker. He blows his back out and he loses his smile and he never comes back. Okay, and he goes and he sits home for what, 5-6 years?
7.
7 years, yeah. And he got paid by the WWE the entire time. I know
7
we've
years.
talked about this before. And
God,
then he comes
I would love
back.
to be paid for 7 years.
He comes back. He's a born again Christian. He's clean. He's sober. He's got his life on the straight and narrow. And we get another chapter to a brand new career. And it's just as epic, if not more epic, than the first go around.
And it's like 8 years long. It's a long time.
So, I mean, the guy was gone for 7 years in the prime of his life and came back and gave us 8 to 10 years, whatever it was, more of just stellar matches and performances. And
well,
I don't understand how he doesn't make this list.
Well, and if you want to put a little stank on it there, he's still one of the main trainers, if not the main trainer in NXT.
He's running the show right now,
and has been for quite a him and Matt Bourne, or no, Matt Bloom. Bloom. Yeah, Matt Bourne's very dead. But teaching the future, and you can't say that like you've heard every one of your favorite NXT superstars say and go, yeah, you go in and you sit with 2 hours for Shawn Michaels every day. It's hard not to be a better wrestler after being here, because holy shit, right? Like, yeah, I don't know. I could put Shawn on here,
I swayed one of the members of the jury.
Unchallenged, I could put Shawn on here. It's one of those things where it's like, the sum of the parts, are the sum of the parts greater than the whole? Is the whole part of the parts?
Oh,
it's
Derek's
Derek's
looking a little salty up there.
No, so what's problematic about a lot of other guys, minus Mick Foley,
Derek's looking a little salty up there.
So minus Mick Foley and the
Not
Undertaker,
digging
what's problematic about a lot of the other guys on here is there's no real longevity. Like Shawn Michaels was one of my favorite wrestlers when I was like 6, and then like he was also one of my favorite wrestlers when I was like, he was one of my favorite wrestlers from when I was 6 until I was 12 or 13, and then from when I was like 20 until I was like 28 or something. And so it's hard to be like, well, this guy was a big guy in my childhood. And then like for my high school career, that 4 years, like he wasn't around. But then it was like, oh, well, like kind of when I was about to finish college and I watched wrestling, he was killing it. And then he killed it basically until I got married or a little bit after, and had kids. Yeah, no, let's put him up there. I feel like
say it, Tom. Say it.
Put him on there. Tom. He's number 3. He lives there.
I mean, he was in DX. That was kind of like
Right.
a huge part of my childhood.
Right.
There's no way he can't be on this list, guys. I'm sorry.
So wait, what do we got? We got
So
The Rock,
I'm looking at The Rock at number 1. We all agree he's the George Washington of our Mount Rushmore. Okay. HBK is sitting in the 3rd spot. That's who we've got so far. We've thrown people out. We haven't put anybody on.
I kind of feel like we should have put Mick Foley in there, but okay. All right. Okay. All right. Moving on. What else we got?
I wanna throw one out there that's the most contentious person on this list. Hulk Hogan. Derek.
Can't do it. He can't work. Dude, and okay, so this is let me be completely open and fair. I did not grow up as a little Hulkster. I was not watching it and his black and yellow, time frame.
Red and yellow.
Whatever. Yeah. I more know him from his NWO days. So my opinion is going to probably be very skewed as far as that goes because I saw him in an older era where he was not telling me to eat my Wheaties and drink my vitamins and say my prayers and all that stuff.
Take your vitamins, eat your Wheaties, drink your milk. Kurt Angle. Why are we not talking about Kurt Angle? Fuck.
I think Kurt Angle is very much in that Randy Orton category.
Yeah, you're right. He's top.
Yeah,
he's top 10. But not
so, Tom.
But man,
now Hulk Hogan, throw Hulk out of here.
I'm absolutely not going to just toss Hulk Hogan to the side. I'm just not going to do it. We have to talk about Hulk Hogan.
1, bad worker. 2, bad human. Terrible human, kicked out of the Hall of Fame. How has anybody they didn't even kick Donald Trump out of the Hall of Fame. They didn't
kick him out of the Hall of Fame.
Oh, they muted him.
They did. They hit the mute button.
Okay. They didn't even mute Donald Trump. God, I wish they would have muted Donald Trump. Anyway.
He had to come and apologize to everyone backstage and
he didn't even fucking apologize, dude.
And the New Day was still like, nope, not talking to us.
And Titus O'Neil, he was like, I'm sorry. You're always being recorded. No, you weren't sorry for being a racist. You were sorry that you were recorded while being a racist. God in heaven.
So we're gonna let all this extracurricular nonsense. We're gonna let this overshadow the contributions that he's made to the professional wrestling business. The fact that pro wrestling is what it is today because of him, because of the fact that he existed, because of the fact that he looked the way that he looked and he was presented the way that he was presented. And pro wrestling has since hitched its coattails onto Hulk Hogan and rode him all the way to the moon, brother. Okay, I'm just saying it's hard to ignore all of the stuff that he's done. If we're going to sit here and we're going to ignore the things that he's done in the ring, okay, he can't work. I'm not going to lie, but he's also the reason that things are the way that they are and they exist in the space that they exist in. Okay, because otherwise we'd be getting 2 guys rolling around dry humping each other like Gotch and Fez.
Oh. Thank you, Timmy.
All right, Hogan's going on the bye-bye list.
No, Timmy. Timmy threw him out.
But listen, I understand, but I can't blatantly let you guys sit here. Okay, I understand. But you guys can't sit here and say that he doesn't have meaning to the business.
There's still farting. No, he's definitely got meaning. Look, he could be on the Randy Orton level. We could put him in the top 10, but he ain't. He ain't on this list, bro.
Okay, well, I guess the same argument could be made for Triple H.
Yeah, no, throw Triple H out. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, there's no way that I'm ever going to argue for Triple H to be on this list.
Toss him. I'm sorry. I love the man, but toss him. It's fine. I get it.
All right, so let's talk about Mr. Perfect.
Toss him. He never made it there.
I'm sure Walt has a spiel here.
Look, hold on.
He's done his research.
Hold on. Fired a bunch, from every company. Just a hard guy to work with. Ribbed everybody too hard. Never really made an impact as far as championship wise. I mean, we're talking about guys who are multiple time champions who transformed the business. Did I like Mr. Perfect? Yeah. Was he perfect? Yeah. Yeah, he was. Was Curt Hennig great? Should he have lived longer and had a end of his career? The dude died at 46? he was insanely young. Had he lived longer, redeemed himself, had a longer career, maybe even a short, like, I won a title, we could talk about it.
He was an AWA champion.
Yeah, of course he was American Wrestling Alliance champion because
he beat Nick Bockwinkel.
Yeah, Nick Bockwinkel back in the 1976, 77. Yes. Yeah, that's a long fucking time ago. And I can't tell you that I love Mr. Perfect. I love me some Mr. Perfect. I watch Mr. Perfect matches still. To this day, I'll put them on while I'm working because
there's not a better match than SummerSlam Perfect and Bret Hart. There's just not.
There's a point in time too where like he was in a little faction in WCW with Flair, and like they're going out there all like puffed chests and like crazy, and like they all got their asses beat, and they come back and they're all sweaty and bleeding. There's like two cuts of it, right? There's like a pre-match cut where they're all just like in nice suits talking about it and everything's going great and all's well. And then they go out there and they just kind of get the shit kicked out of all of them. And they come back and like Perfect's shirt is like torn open and he's like, his hair is a mess. And he's like, what the fucking going on? And like,
I actually think that was in WWE.
I think it was. You're right. And like Flair is bleeding. It's really like, it's a great, like you put the shots side by side because it's in the same locker room and it's from the same camera angle. And it's just so perfect. And, to me, Mr. Perfect was always one of those guys that like he would go out there and you saw him this is part of the reason why you like him so much. You saw him all the time. He worked every show. So it was like, oh, I'm watching the Saturday night's main event. There's Mr. Perfect. Oh, you're watching, whatever, Friday night, whatever that show was. There's Mr. Perfect. Oh, okay, the Sunday night thing. You're watching Mr. Perfect. Oh, there's the random Monday Night Raw. There's Mr. Perfect. Like it's all this stuff. It's like you see Mr. Perfect is out there, and he's not out there a long time. He doesn't always win, but he's putting on a match every single night because, one, he was a super safe worker, so he wasn't hurting anybody while he was out there. Two, the man's conditioning and stamina was fantastic. He'd go out there 5-10 minutes every night. Didn't matter to him. Oh, yeah, let me go play. Let me go work. I'm going to cut a promo. Let me do this, that. The man had screen time, and the man had a lot of screen time because he deserved a lot of screen time while he was there. But as far as impact was, he was great. He was great at keeping your eyeballs there, but you weren't tuning in to watch Mr. Perfect. Like, I love the man. I think that you're going to be mad at me for this, but I have high feelings for this guy. He's the better version of Baron Corbin. So you see Corbin every week. Corbin's a safe hand. He's a big guy. He talks pretty well, and he's a safe hand. Like nobody, Baron Corbin has hurt 0 people.
Hey, pal.
He's the better Baron Corbin.
Hey, pal.
But he's still that.
Hey. I think you hit the nail on the head, bud. Perfect's off the list. That was a pride pick for me. I love me some Mr. Perfect, man. But
I do too.
You make some valid points.
I'm not arguing with you.
Derek over there, I think he's into it too. Perfect's off the list.
I have no memories of Mr. Perfect. Go for it.
I have plenty, but I mean, it's just
I do too. It was one of my favorite growing up. All right, let's get to one that's near and dear to Tom's heart. The Macho Man.
Oh yeah, I don't know how he doesn't go up here, boys. I mean, unless you want to say that he didn't have enough title reigns, which is valid. But I mean, promos, top tier, top 2 promos. Match wise, top 2 match wise. I mean, even like, Vince. We go back to Bret Hart. Bret was emasculated in WWF, sent to WCW, like as sort of like almost a punishment, right? Yep. Mach, same thing, but Mach went on his own accord, reinvented himself, was the WCW champion two times.
2, yeah.
We get 2 reigns, and reinvented himself. Gorgeous George.
I mean, and they were both relatively meaningful, at least especially for that point in time in WCW. I know that, like, when we did the Macho Man episode,
the one was like 8 months. The one was like 8 months long. It was a
Yeah.
long time. Like he was the guy. The other one was not terrible. It was like 2 or 3 months. It was not terribly long. But the first one was like he was the champ for a long time. And like he would open the show, and then he would close the show, and you'd see him on commentary at some point in the middle, and like he was the guy for a long time. For like he was doing all the stuff, and like he'd wrestle every other week more or less, and they'd put him out there 20 minutes at a time. They weren't the best matches of his career, but he was such a capable guy that just, I mean, look, even if you look back on it now, like such a capable guy. So even the end of his career, if you're talking about WCW, like it wasn't a waste in the same way that like Bret Hart's was just like a sad. I mean, he also didn't get his head kicked in, which is good.
Yeah.
Which is nice. But man, God, his WWF run, holy crap! Like think about like, okay, so WrestleMania 3, where Hulk Hogan is like going against Andre the Giant. It's like, oh my God, this is the thing. Steals the show.
Yeah, it's the most talked about match on the card. I mean, there's no argument. Like him and Steamboat went out there and they tore the house down.
Stole the show.
Tore the house down. And you hear the stories of, of the match, like the behind the scenes and how like tedious everything was,
because they had whatever. Vince was like, you got 22 minutes or whatever it was. And they broke it down piece by piece by piece by piece. Like we have to get every second out of this match, every last second. And they had it memorized. They would quiz each other. And then you move on from that, right? So you get to the part where he loses the Intercontinental Championship. And he's in a predicament that he's in an unjustifiable position that he'd rather not be in. And he blames President Jack Tunney. Remember President Jack Tunney?
Tunney.
We're talking about the cream of the crop promo right now. Okay. He's in that purple shirt. I own the purple shirt. I'm not wearing it right now, but I own that shirt. The cream of the crop, because the cream rises to the top. He's pulling creams. Yeah, he's pulling creams like out of his hand, out of his pockets, and like handing them to Mean Gene Okerlund. And it's like, Mean Gene is like, where is this coming from? And like, so there's that, right? And all of that. And you're mystified by the Macho Man at this point. And then he and Hulk Hogan clash. And then the Mega Powers, and the Mega Powers collide. And then the Mega Powers collide. They fight over Miss Elizabeth. And Randy's the champ a couple times in the middle of that. And then after that, after the Mega Powers thing, then it's Macho Madness. And he and the Ultimate Warrior become like they're rivals, and they're a tag team.
And then you got like Scary Sherry's involved in all of that.
Scary
and then you get the Elizabeth storyline. Listen, pal, you're going to sit here all day. You're going to sell me on Macho Man. You're going to give me the whole,
there. I mean, he's
the whole
guy.
Rundown. Like, I mean,
he's the guy. He is the guy. If you're going to put, he's number 2 of anything. Like Macho Man is the number 2 greatest wrestler of all time.
Okay. So then we're talking about number 2, then that's got to edge out Ric Flair. I mean, if he's going to take that spot, Flair's got to go.
All right.
I mean, Derek, do you agree that does Macho go?
I was gonna kind of in my own mind. It's like that group of 3 there with Flair, Macho Man, and Hulk Hogan, and more so, it's Hulk Hogan and Macho Man are kind of like a unit. They've had so many great matches over the years, so many rivalries, so many. Then they've
been a part of each other's lives for as long as we remember.
They're huge.
Also, Macho Man was in Spider-Man. He was
Bonesaw.
If I had to pick between the 2, I would totally go with Macho Man. And that was before, even before arguments one way or another. I'm definitely more of a Macho Man guy than a Hulk Hogan guy. He had the in-ring ability, and he had the promo ability. And less racism. Always
less race. Macho Man was on Arsenio Hall. He was like, I'm not a racist. And look, Macho's great. Got Randy Savage. He's got to go up there. All right.
So as we sit on the show's Mount Rushmore, we have The Rock, Macho Man, and the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
I'm good with that.
We have
Let's keep
one
going.
person that we've yet to discuss, and we have a couple of folks that are still sitting on the table. So, the last guy that we've yet to discuss is none other than the Ringmaster, Stunning Steve, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I love Stone Cold, but his career is too short. Comparatively, it's too short.
But
And
that's not his fault. That's Owen Hart's fault.
That's true.
It's a little bit his fault.
That's Owen Hart's fault.
He quit
It's
a little
totally
bit
Owen
early.
Hart's fault.
That's fine, but
Okay, so whenever you say he quit a little bit early, I really truly believe, and I think he's kind of made this clear, that he knew that he was so freaking white plasma hot. He's not going to get any hotter. Well, why not just, you got to go out on top. If you're going to go out on your own terms, he had an injured knee at this point. He's had neck issues because of Owen. He's not going to get any more over than he was. He turned on the fans, became the corporate, with McMahon.
Which was a terrible heel turn, by the way.
It was a terrible heel turn.
I mean, it led to
The
some really
fans didn't
entertaining
want it.
moments.
We
It led to
wanted
some
Stone
really
Cold.
entertaining stuff with Vince McMahon and Kurt Angle. All right.
I mean,
and he
yeah.
absolutely got to show us that more character piece of himself during that, right? But here's my argument. And while I agree with both of you, I feel like Stone Cold is very, very sentimental to the business that we know and love today, right? And I've still kind of got to put him in that Hulk Hogan bubble where, like, his contributions have meant so much, but at the same point in time, there was parts to his career that it was just like, eh. And, like, I don't necessarily know that he belongs in the top 4. I would say he lands at number 5, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'm not. God loves me some Stone Cold. I still do. Look, I still watch if when I know it's that the reality show he had on USA that was after Raw, where I know that was put on hold because we had a pandemic, and it was like, well, Stone Cold clearly can't go ride go-karts with people during a pandemic.
Yeah.
But like, to me, it's like, if that's the thing, like, I will watch all of that.
Absolutely. He's very much somebody that, like, when he's involved in something as a wrestling fan, I'm like, ooh, I'm going to watch that.
Yeah.
Because he's involved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
you know what I'm saying? And that's why he definitely has an argument to be on this list. He definitely has an argument to be on this list, but I think he just falls just right outside of it.
Yeah. He's just not, he's not there. I don't think he's there. I think I agree. I think it's
I think he needed like 4 or 5 more years to
Yeah.
be there, and he just didn't have it.
He needed so The Rock's career, as limited as it became, extended a little bit, and it was always meaningful, right? Like, he'd leave to film a movie, and then he'd come back, do something meaningful for a little while, and then he'd leave again. And yeah, was it annoying at the time? It was not quite what Brock Lesnar was doing, like, in 2017-ish, but it was that level of like, God, okay, so we got The Rock, he's going to be in part of this program, and he's going to go away. And it's like, it's almost like, towards the end, it was what John Cena's doing now, right? It was like, and we're obviously not talking about John Cena, but like The Rock had a very sizable, like, mainstream. I'm on both shows. I'm here all day, every day. I'm at every show. I open the show. Sometimes I close the show. I talk every time. I have a big segment. They give me 10 minutes every week, at least, sometimes 30 or 40. And I carry this shit. With Stone Cold, it was like he did that for a long time, but like, even during that time, like, I just watched the Royal Rumble 2000, right? Royal Rumble 2000, Triple H is the champion. So whomever wins the Royal Rumble faces Triple H. In the Rumble, though, there's no Mankind, because Mankind fought Triple H earlier the night. The Rock's in the Rumble, but that's kind of it. There's no Undertaker in that Rumble.
Undertaker never really did the Rumbles later on in his career either.
But it's one of those things where it's like no Stone Cold. There's no Stone Cold. It's one of those things where it's just like he was Stone Cold even during the prime, the meat of his career was very absent to injury. And that's one of those things. It was covered up very well because there was only Monday Night Raw and a few pay-per-views, right? There were like 6 pay-per-views a year, a couple of In Your House, the main 4. So when you didn't see Stone Cold for a couple months, it was really only 5 or 6 shows, right? So, but at the same time, like, his career wasn't that long, so it's one of those things. Like he was hurt a lot, so he was seldom used, but at the same time, like his career kind of ended early, too. So it really was like 96 through 2003, and it was even spotty through there. And
even I would even cut it off at 2000, and I know he was my pick, and it was definitely one from the heart. But
hey man,
I get what you guys are saying, man. Yeah, like I mean, but that was the guy that got me.
No, that's the guy that got a lot of people, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why, like, for me,
you hear that glass breaking, and it's like, oh, it's on.
Well, for me, it was the Bushwhackers. So, I mean, I can't really.
Here we go.
Jesus.
Okay, listen. So we have one spot left on this mountain, and we have 2 people left sitting on the table.
It's Taker and Foley, ain't it?
It's Taker and Foley.
It's a Foley for me, dog.
It's a Foley for me,
dog. I mean, you're both wrong.
You're putting Taker on there regardless?
Because listen, guys, what's missing from this list?
A perfect ending to his career.
A legendary big man.
Because he ruined it. What was Randy Savage? Was he not a big man?
Mick Foley's a big man.
No.
You talking about legendary tall man.
Like legendary big guy.
You're talking about a tall man.
Like Taker was presented as a monster. He played a monster.
Man.
He was a monster. He was a badass.
Mick
Then
Foley
he was a dead guy.
He weighed more than the Undertaker. Mick Foley weighs more than the Undertaker.
I mean, Vader checks all the boxes that you just listed, but he's nowhere near this Mount Rushmore.
I love Vader, but I did not put him on my list.
No, but you guys really going to sit there and tell me that you agree that Mick Foley deserves to be on this list over the Undertaker?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sorry. Undertaker.
I do not believe
Undertaker's number 5, Stone Cold's number 6, Mick Foley is number 4.
I do not believe the complete and utter nonsense that you guys are talking right now.
I mean, it's hard to it's hard to be wrong, but sometimes you got to be that guy.
The end of his career, man, that's what ruined it. Like he should have stopped. It was perfect.
But now you got Mick Foley running around talking shit to anybody that'll listen to get a fucking.
He doesn't do anything. He's not in the ring. He's left comedy.
Yeah, he's signing books and kissing babies. He's giving me hugs, brother. Is the Undertaker going to give me a hug? No,
he might now.
I mean, I would love a hug.
Definitely not now. He's probably going to hate Tom after this.
Look, if the Undertaker gave me a hug, I would totally vote for the. But Mick Foley has given me a hug, so
unbelievable.
Sorry, you know who else didn't give me a hug? Fucking Kane did not give me a hug. So I didn't put Kane on this list either.
He's not going to break kayfabe. That'd be terrible. Can't do that.
No. He did have to duck to get into that fucking room. Holy shit, that motherfucker is tall as shit. I hope those are some tall ass doors in that Capitol building. Also, fuck Glenn Jacobs for not being like, well, I don't want to make people get vaccinated. Oh, I don't want to make people get vaccinated.
Christ. Here we go.
Because I'm a Rudy Poo candy ass. Anyway.
So
I guess
I just got outvoted here, huh? That's what it comes out.
You did.
Just got outvoted here, even though my argument's better.
I mean, but votes count.
I mean, you can argue all you want, but there's a body of work laying in front of all of us that we can all see.
Yeah, that you're choosing to ignore, and you're choosing to
Look, I watched.
I'm not
Look,
choosing
I've
to
watched.
ignore anything, bud.
I've
I
watched.
just know what kind of matches I like, and you know for
Yeah,
a
and the
fact
kind of
that I'm the
matches,
one that's going to sit here and watch.
but the kind of matches that you've mentioned in your argument include the guy that I'm making an argument for.
Okay,
Yeah,
there's
but
plenty of other things that he did. He was,
Jesus
plenty of
Christ.
things with Terry Funk. All kinds
Oh
of good
yeah,
stuff.
that'll
dude.
put butts in the seats.
Yeah, I know
All right,
exactly. See,
so
I
let's
can't
take
go
it
up with
home.
that
Terry
stuff
Funk
because
put
you
a
guys
lot
are
of butts. Terry Funk put a lot
death
of
match
butts in the seats.
matches.
Terry Funk, pre-death match, Terry Funk, NWA World Champion, put a shitload of butts in seats. Let us not disparage the good name of Terry Funk only because he managed to go to trash wrestling at some. But anyway, not hurting on Terry. Terry Funk is the man. I
Okay,
wish
guys,
him
you
all
got
of
him.
the best.
You got him.
Yes.
Okay, you got him.
Yes, I fucking love Mick Foley. God, I want to
Okay.
kiss him. I
You,
want to
you,
kiss
you
him.
got him. But you know what? I got to tell you. So Derek only gave me 3 people, and I snuck this one on here. Okay. And
No, you snuck Shawn Michaels on there.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Talking about Shawn. I snuck Shawn in here.
You made me
And
go through this stupid text messaging thing. See, I even went back and found it.
I was trying, bud, but like, I didn't. I knew that he was gonna find a home. So like,
Yeah,
because there was no way that he couldn't find a home. He 1,000,000% deserves to be on our list. Okay.
you did. You did good.
And he's there. Okay. So
Well, when it comes crashing,
So we
down,
gave you that.
it's
In return, we got Foley. That's fine.
yeah. No, I'm actually satisfied. I thought I was not going to be satisfied, and I was going to leave and be like, I'm going to go drink more beer and like take
Yeah,
a
I
shit.
hate our list. This does not
Yeah,
represent me.
you know what,
No,
guys? Moving
But
on,
no,
right?
it's good.
Macho Man hits the list. I think that
Yeah.
his body of work speaks for itself, and we I mean, to this day, he's the only spotlight show that we have done on One Fall WrestleCast.
I have that T-shirt too.
And yeah, you have that T-shirt
It's a
too.
fantastic T-shirt.
And
It's
I
really
mean,
good.
the guy that like realistically was like at the top of all of our lists, and I just didn't include him because I wanted us to have 12. The Rock.
Yeah.
So I mean, nobody's going to be able to ignore what he's done for the business.
He was better. He's better than everybody. He's still better. He's a better
Yeah,
actor than
listen,
most
Dude, he
people.
could
Here's the
walk
thing.
into the arena right now and he'd be better than everybody there.
Here's the
He's
thing,
so
right?
good.
So
It's
like he's not even officially a part of the show, and he's still the most anticipated thing in the future, right?
He's
Like,
the best. He's the best thing ever. He's the best ever.
guys, I'm really pumped that we agreed on something. Like I thought that was a good little body of work there between the three of us.
It was.
All right, but we got one thing we got to take it home. We've got match of the week.
Match of the week.
That's
Tom,
good because I have a secret one. It's a secret.
Really?
It's a secret. No, okay.
Ooh.
So you guys didn't see this, and I didn't talk about it. I didn't hype it up much because I wanted to talk about it. So Matt Riddle versus Otis from Monday Night Raw last week was a shocker. It was a shocker.
Really?
Otis wins, by the way. There was a little twisty rematch thing this week. Randy fought what's
Gable,
his face?
Chad Gable.
Gable. But like it was pretty short. It was a Raw match. It was like 5-ish minutes, but it was like one of those things where it was like Otis just caught him, and it was like these are two guys that really have like obviously Riddle with his like Muay Thai and wrestling background, but Otis being literally like an Olympic like level wrestler of like super big guy proportions. I was like it happened and I went, holy holy crap. And so discarding the obvious, I mean, yes, there was there a 60-minute Broadway that it was captivating? Yes, that's too easy of a pick, right? I also very much enjoyed all of the little sprinklings. I really thought the Rampage was very good too, just as a whole. There was the whole thing was good matches, but no, that's where I'm going to go this week because it's sort of out of left field, and it just really it tickled me in a way that I
It's
didn't.
not typical WWE booking either.
And it
And
tickled
that's a
me in
good
a
pick.
way.
That's what it's about, is getting that tickle.
It tickled me in a way that I was like, yeah, Otis, because I want to see Otis be the guy.
All I wanted
some
from
point.
Otis was at the Thanksgiving Brawl, Royal Rumble, Battle Royal thing was for him when he got that pizza wafted in front of him to go, oh yeah, just snap out of it for a second. And
Yeah,
he didn't give me the payoff.
He did eat the pizza though.
And I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I do want a little bit.
But that's good though, bud. Listen, and we talked about this at the top of the show, right? It's like wrestling was actually really good this week, and we came in here with no plans of talking about wrestling, like current day product. Like we had this whole.
We were like, they're phoning it in. Also, Balor and what's his face, Austin Theory. They went 10 minutes tonight.
I'm into Austin Theory. I'm glad he's going to be a somebody. He's definitely going to be a somebody.
They went 10 minutes tonight, and I was like, out of the corner of my eye going, you fucking kidding me?
I mean, on paper, that sounds like a great match. So
it does sound like a great match on paper.
I watched it like this, but theoretically, every time I went, ooh, damn. No, but yeah, no, that's I'm going with Otis versus Riddle. It was that surprise, like I didn't know I wanted this, but I'm gonna eat it because it's delicious. So thank you, boys. Thank you.
Derek, match of the week, bud.
So honestly, I was kind of torn on what to pick because I didn't actually get time to watch a whole lot of the Raw or SmackDown episodes. I did fit in some NXT and of course all of AEW. And like was already been mentioned earlier, it would just be an unfair pick to pick the opening Broadway on Dynamite. Like we weren't going to do that.
Right.
We all know that coming in. So I was actually watching NXT tonight before the show, and I ran across a little gem on there that I actually really enjoyed and was like, that's it right there. As soon as I, halfway through, I was like, this is the one. It was actually Grizzled Young Veterans versus Jacket Time. And I know that Jacket Time, if they actually do win championships, it's going to be one of those, haha, we're champions. It's funny. And then they lose the belts. But man, I dig it. Like, I dig what they do. It's a solid working match. And Grizzled Young Veterans as well. They're solid workers. Everything is tight, crisp, is good. There was no slop, I was happy with it. To be honest, before this, I was gonna go with Ty Conti and little blonde girl, what's her name? And then submission match, Penelope Cruz. Penelope Ford, not Penelope Cruz.
Penelope Ford. Yeah, Penelope. I mean, that's like their like third or fourth meeting there too. So that's like, but no, that was a solid one too. But it was.
I mean, it wasn't a blockbuster, like it's not going to sell tickets if that's your main event. But that's what I was into for the week, and like you had said, it just tickles your fancy there, a little something special.
Grizzled Young Veterans, I feel like really. Every time they step out there, it's just like, man, this is better than it had any right to be. And they really not only they can carry a match, they're the FTR. Maybe
they have the look.
Maybe even a little bit better, if I'm gonna say it that way. I mean, their mic skills aren't as good, but they're like the FTR of being able to drag a match out of literally any tag team and have it be just like, good God, how good of a tag team match was that? Holy crap. Like and
I know it's terrible. I know it's kind of a comedy gimmick, but I really do dig Jacket Time right now with what they've got going on.
It's okay. No, it's not. It's not bad. It's the correct level of like what's going on at that point. And it's the gimmick works. It's a gimmick in progress, but it works.
And I made fun of Walt previously for Karshida, but I mean, hey, he's turned it around. He's figured out what to do with it. He made chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Been there all along, pal.
Look, he's fine. He's all right. I think I prefer him in this than I did as a singles wrestler, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think he does well. I'm good with it.
And then honestly, you would just be wrong. So
That's all right. What's your pick then, Walt?
So like you guys said, obviously we know that the 60-minute Broadway was the shit, right? Like that was the match of the week.
You can just pick okay, the two best wrestlers that wrestled this week was for 60 minutes was the best match. Clearly it was. They had 60 minutes. Yeah.
However, the match that I chose as my match of the week, I think is going to be quite the shock to both of you gentlemen. And my match of the week was Serena Deeb versus Karshida.
I am shocked, actually. I didn't hate that match at all. I didn't hate that match at all, but I'm shocked.
I didn't hate it either, and I hated the fact that Serena Deeb lost. I'm still just she is
Upset,
a diamond in the
shocked,
rough.
I'm sure.
Okay,
well, I mean, she's unfortunately for Serena Deeb, she's her prime has passed.
She's still got it though, bud.
Oh, she's totally got it. But
I'll tell you what, I really saw a lot in Sheeta in that match, right? Like she looked crisp at some points, and she got back to her little sloppiness in some points of that match. Her timing was good in portions. Her timing was really, really bad in some spots, right? Yeah. And like it's easy for me to come in here and shit on Sheeta every week because I'm just not into it. But you know what? Like if she can put together a full wrestling match, I think that she's got greatness written all over her. But unfortunately, we're 2 years in. We're 2 years in, and she still can't put together a complete wrestling match. And that is what bothers me the most. But you put her in there with somebody like a Thunder Rosa or Serena Deeb, and they just seem to get the best out of her. So, that was absolutely my match of the week because it gave me hope that maybe she is not as bad at wrestling as I continue to say that she is.
So Sheeta's 34. I think Serena Deeb is pushing 40. But it's one of those things where it's just like there's no. I agree on your hope. I do think that Sheeta's getting the push because she and Kenny are a thing, and now it was a good match though. It's clearly it's the best Sheeta match in a year for sure, at least if not longer. Good matches, boys. Clearly the 60-minute Broadway.
Yes.
I mean, it's like, oh, I'm just gonna take this filet mignon and wrap it in bacon.
Hated the finish though.
But yeah, I did too. But like otherwise you've got these cheeseburgers to pick from. And it's like, well, I like cheeseburgers, but you wrapped a filet mignon in bacon.
So
there was like a pea in the middle of there, like a frozen pea, and that was the finish. And I was not expecting that. Not that I wasn't expecting it, but it was like, why'd you have to like kind of make this delicious dish like not as good by sticking this frozen pea in the middle of it? But it was like,
I just want to throw out there that I really feel like it was fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but Hangman didn't come out of this looking super strong.
That was the point of what I was trying to make. Is the booking is that like, look, I love Hangman. I'm glad that he's the champ right now. I'm glad he beat Kenny. I love the whole build and all that stuff. Like, do you really want this to be his first title? Like, had this been his fourth title defense, my opinion of it would be 100%. Like, this is the best match I've ever seen in my lifetime. Lifetime. What amazing booking. Had it been his fourth title defense, this was his first title defense. His first title defense is a 60-minute draw.
He was taking most of the beating for a good portion.
He got the shit kicked out of him for 56 minutes out of that 60-minute match.
Mm-hmm.
It was not. It was very lopsided.
Though I did enjoy Daniel Bryan just being a straight up asshole heel and giving him a little shit, and then going to the outside of the ropes. So and just the shithead smile,
So yeah, I mean,
he's killing it right now. He's at the top of his game.
He's
rejuvenated.
Well, we've gone long at this point anyway, but I just want to point out that like had they had Daniel Bryan beat him at minute 58. I think that everybody's mind is more blown And it's like, I mean, it probably buries the rest of the show, right? But I mean,
100%.
but at that point, like, you're just like, oh, I can't believe they did it. I
Because I
can't
mean, they
believe
almost
they
buried
did
the
it.
show with their 60-minute draw.
I mean, they did a little bit, but I mean, you're still like, we'd be talking about it in the sense of just like, oh my God, what a match. I can't believe they did it. I can't believe they, can you believe that finish? I can't believe it. They went almost 60 minutes. I can't.
Now, if they do it, it won't be as meaningful.
Well, I mean, we would be talking about that particularly for like.
No, I'm saying if they try to do it again.
Yeah, no, I mean they can't now. Like, I mean they can, but at this point, it's like when they do it a third time, when it's like Daniel Bryan goes to a time limit draw again. Like, okay, so Bryan's unpinnable, but he won't pin anybody. Is that the like that's the chasm, right? Is that like, oh, everybody's just as good as Daniel Bryan and nobody can beat each other, and so what the hell? But that's the kicker, right? Is that like now, like, God, that's the like, I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, man, fucking, if Bryan, like, let's say Bryan would have won in 58 minutes, right? And then like Hangman would have been like, just like fired up and pissed and like wouldn't have talked to anybody. Maybe would have turned in the Dark Order or something, like just like punched Evil Uno out and been like, I'm done with this. I'm done with you. Leave me alone. And then like somehow worked his way back up, like, whatever, over like just killing people, like just come out as like a stone cold killer.
Listen, I'm into it as long as he doesn't have to talk.
Exactly. Just come out as like a stone cold, ice face, not talking to anybody killer. Just came out, killed everybody, and won some kind of bullshit, whatever, to get a title shot at what's their next pay-per-view coming up?
Revolution.
And then let's say he beats Bryan Danielson in 5 minutes. It takes it and spits on him. Are you not like, what the fuck?
Aghast at what I've seen, sir.
What have I seen? What just happened? Like, we took like, and then Bryan can just be like,
they could have got like real long-term legs off of these two.
They could, and he could have been like, I turned you into a killer.
Ooh.
I turned, and like Hangman could just be tearing through people, and like while Bryan Danielson builds himself back up, right? Hangman could just be killed, like he could just be tearing through the Dark Order, like boom, like just 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 45 seconds, just ripping people to shreds. Everybody, and then even they gotta have Moxley come back. You have kill Moxley. Could you imagine that? Have Moxley come out all blah blah blah, have him buckshot lariat, bam, 1, 2, 3, 30 seconds.
I love
Tom. All right, so I know this is totally off the thing, but I feel like when Moxley does come back, it's totally going to be a feud between him and Eddie Kingston, like straight up. Just,
I mean, whatever. I'm just saying,
want it.
Like.
Can I just tell you what I want, Tom? Do you have to?
You would look if what I just described would have happened, you'd have been.
Yeah, I'd have been pretty happy.
You'd have been like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire lifetime, and I'm so here for it. Like, how did I miss this? But
why don't you just tweet TK and let him know what he should do?
Well, it's over now because the ship has sailed, and my bank account does not have that couple $1 million in it. But you know where you can find us? On YouTube. One Fall WrestleCast.
Yeah, what he said.
Because we exist.
We do exist.
And you know where else you can find us? On Twitter. _Fall WrestleCast. Because
that's wrong. But that's wrong.
What is it then?
It's at @1_Fall WC. That's ONE.
All right.
Listen, real quick, right? So obviously that's where we live in the social media world. We ran real long here. But I kind of knew that we were going to, because I thought that this was going to get a little heated, and it did for a hot second.
Episode.
But it was good though. Listen, I think that we did a good job. Mick Foley, Shawn Michaels, Macho Man, and The Rock. I think that that's a respectable Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling, right?
I like it.
I'm very good with that. I'm much more satisfied than I ever imagined I would be.
Yeah,
coming into this
I think
episode.
that goes for all three of us,
Yeah,
right?
I'm very
Yeah.
good with it. I'm good.
Hey, so guys, real quick, and then we'll get up out of here. Hey guys, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Oh yeah, Merry Christmas.
You know, I appreciate you guys. You know, I really do.
I appreciate you guys, Walt. I appreciated seeing you the other day. It was
nice.
wonderful. I've been missing you since then.
Yeah,
But it was a lovely time. And
yeah, it was good. It was real good. And you know, so
Derek,
happy birthday.
Happy birthday, buddy. I can't wait to see you again too. I want to
It
give
won't
you
be long, sir.
I want to give you a hug. I'm gonna lean down a little bit to give you a hug, but I'll give you a hug.
See, you'll actually
He's
like
just a little guy.
You'll know how to look this time. 'Cause I know you were standing up whenever I got at the Red House. Like, where's he at? And then,
Where is he? Where is he?
Tom.
Hey,
and, yeah.
But for real, man, I appreciate both of you. I'm glad that you know we we get to hang out every single week. You know,
I look forward to it.
I do
It's
too.
so
I
fun.
don't give a shit. You know, so everybody, Merry Christmas to everybody that watches. If you're here, hit the like button. You know, throw us a little love. Hey man, Tom, what do you always say when you close out your other videos?
Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Cheers to you. I'll see you next time.
One Fall WrestleCast.